Hello everyone once again and welcome back to Flesh and Blood and Recreations. And today we're going to crack our first booster box of Flesh and Blood, and what else will be better than start with a history pack. So Flesh and Blood has this interesting concept of, well, they did 2 history packs as far as I know. So of each time, like first they reprint cards and they reprint boxes until demand fades, so no more crazy, speculation. Now they do the same thing as Yu-Gi-Oh to a degree, which is in Yu-Gi-Oh you have the first edition, which is if you rush after them and you care about that, you have the first edition ones. If you don't, you have the rest of the cards with the unlimited ones, which is, it's okay. Now the box is 36, I think. 36 boosters, very compact box, as you can see. A collection of cards from the history of Flesh and Blood. This set contains 427 cards, approximate cards per pack, 8 commons, 1 rare, 1 rare or higher, unless otherwise specified. No specific card rarity or type is guaranteed to exist within an individual pack, box, or case. Relive the history of Wrath or Wraith. I don't know. Delve onto the history of Flesh and Blood and relive the rising tensions of Wrath before the War of the Monarchs, which is very good because it's by gamers for gamers. Let's go, baby! And it's very good because this is a reprint, because Flesh and Blood, I think, if I recall correctly, if either it was launched or its heavy moment was in 2020, and you know what happened in 2020. So not much to do there for a game that has to be played in Flesh and Blood, so they did the sensible thing, which is they basically reprinted the cards because, it is what it is. Now, white border cards, crazy. And how are we going to divide this? I guess per type, right? So this is a brute action, so brute, ninja, guardian, wizard. This is going to be crazy to sort. Rune blade, ranger. Damn. Like, if you want to check a card in particular, just pause the video because this is going to be crazy. Runeblade equipment head, okay, not bad. So now I just need to remember where stuff is. Generic, so Slogism. The next attack action card will cost 2 or greater. You play this turn, gains +4. Go again. Ninja action, find center. So the rarity is technically here. So this is a mythic one. I wish they use better symbols, but it is what it is. So this is a mythic or something. This is a common. Actually, it's mythic. I think it's medium. I don't know exactly the name of the rarity. So ninja and steer the either winds is a rare wizard action. It's going to be very confusing because it's not super clear. Well, I'm new to this, so sorry, senpai. This is rare, higher, so I guess it's mythic. Yeah. And technically, you can tell which one is which because of the borders. Because the borders are kind of aligned with the weapons, so ninja, right? Like, for example, this is brute. It takes you a while to, it's not as simple as just looking at the color of the card, but it is what it is. So, Nature's Path Pilgrimage, I am very lost, but not with the cards themselves. Like, I have played a little bit of Flesh and Blood by now, and I'm okay with it. I am a little bit lost with the sorting of them, and mechanologist, so another category. Ranger, I love the fact that the ranger has like the green arrows. That's very Aragorn, I might say. Brute equipment, generic defense reaction. So guardian defense reaction. So you have actions and reactions. That's rare. And then a brute weapon. Oh, nice. Mandible claw. So that's the interesting thing about Flesh and Blood. I guess it applies to other card games. Is that... Oh, not really. Maybe like when you build your deck in Yugi, or in Yugi you just go with the flow. You build something based on a theme or a mechanic, for example. But you have some flexibility. In Pokemon, you just need to be careful. Like obviously all decks, right? All decks in all deck building games need to have some sort of carefulness when you build them, because, well, it needs to make sense. So, but in terms of like you normally you can divide them. Like in Pokemon, you divide them by type, by color of the card. So like blue, or like water, electric, etc. In Yugi, you can divide them by type of cards, so effect monsters, fusion monsters, etc. In Magic, we divide them by color, so just go like blue, red, white, the usual. And then, yes, to build a deck, whatever. But in Flesh and Blood, it's complicated. The only way to divide them is that what I'm doing is per category. And what's fun is that if you open a couple of, like, by the end of this box, you technically can just pick any of these piles and try to build a deck with it, because it will be compatible. Because, it won't be like the best deck. You need to still, go through the cards and see what fits and what doesn't fit, and see if it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Command and Conquer, nice. And Life for a Life. In the sense that, and then you have the generic actions which they fit anywhere, but at least it's more or less a deck out of the box. Obviously, it won't be the best deck. You still need to, clean. Don't have more than X copies of each card and yada yada. But nonetheless, right? The logic is still the same. But now, the only thing that, I guess that my eyes need to get accustomed to it, so Sharingan, I guess, it's the borders. The borders are what makes it, Kano, by the way. The borders are what makes it, easy to divide, or to, tell what's up. But the borders are not that strong. Like Mechanologist is easy to tell because it's very noisy. And I guess Guardian because rocks, but thick borders. I will remove the borders a little bit and maybe expand the card borders. Maybe they don't do it for some reason that I'm missing, but it will make it easier to discern when you are sorting. Because then again, when you're playing, you don't want the borders to be in the way because, well, too annoying, right? So it is what it is. Now, it's true that I've been playing with Blitz decks, and this is the first box I crack. So I'm getting used to having multiple things at the same time. But it's also true that the more I play, the more I keep going, the more I'm getting used to the borders, or at least to a degree, because sometimes it's gold. So because it's a reaction, I guess. So yeah. Now, one thing that I like about this a lot is that different classes have different weapons and different ways of playing, which is great because it actually gives a lot of flavor to the game. It's not just like, oh, it's a warrior and this is a ninja or something, and they are pretty much the same card, just changes types or costs because of the color. Here, it actually feels like its own thing, which is great, because normally I feel that a lot of new card games kind of are just copying or evolving the existing card games. And this one, you can tell that this is being, it was done by people that love the other card games, but certainly try to do their own thing, and it feels like its own thing. Like, yes, you have the cost and all that, but because it's necessary. Rushing River, nice. But it feels like its own thing, which is great. Plus, this box is not that expensive, and yes, I assume that is because it's a history pack, so it's a box of reprints, pretty much, but no foils or anything, which I guess it's the thing. Also, what I was trying to say is the different types of hero have different ways of playing, which you will be like, duh, but no, actually it feels different. When you play with a wizard deck, or when you play with a warrior, with a bard, with a brute, they all feel slightly different, and that's great because it's not just skins, it's like the whole philosophy of the difference between a guardian, a warrior, etc. That's what makes these great. It's actually what excites me about this. Is like, we don't have colors, we have classes, and that's kind of the thing. And this box comes with a lot of cards. But again, as I'm saying, by the end of this, I can pick any of these piles, just remove the excess copies, and do like a 60 card deck, and it will work. It won't be the best one, but it will work because, that's kind of how it is, and that's kind of how it's built. It's built also for sealed play, so not that bad. High speed impact, and the art is pretty good as well. Now, one thing that we have to consider, the thing that we need to consider is that the history pack, it's fun because this is not for constructed play, so this is basically just for you to get access to old cards, because a lot of people weren't around when they released, and they have a white border, which at the beginning I was like, as I'm opening this, I'm thinking like, are they all white border? And I never realized, like, nope. Turns out that they are white border because it's a reprint set, and it's a way of being like, okay, these are white border, these are reprints. If you have the original black borders, cool. Fun fact, they printed these cards in black border only for languages that didn't have a translation for the time these cards were released. So you have like black border cards of these, but only like in Spanish, German, and all that. Which is a very good gesture, I have to say. And these cards are actually legal. Now, as a curiosity, I find it funny that... by the way, this is not... The M is not for Mythic, it's for Majestic, I think. Which is like trying too hard, but okay. It's funny because in Magic, the white border cards are like taboo. Like, you maybe can't use them, or if you're using white border cards, it's because you have a lot of money, and those cards are broken AF or something because they are old cards. And in some formats, you can't use white border cards. Here, white border cards are the reprint version. It's like, oh, well. And apparently in the community, there is this whole thing about people being purists, of like some people being like, oh no, I just play with black border, which, okay, yes, if you want to be like, if you want to spend money, sure, get the black border version of the cards, and because you want your entire deck to be consistent in black border, or because you believe that black border looks better, which I have to say it does, but you kind of get used to it being in white. It looks weird, but it feels like in my opinion, it's an acceptable compromise. Like, the box is cheaper. This thing is to give you access to old cards, and just reprints, and which it's what you need for these games. But again, you need to maintain the collectability. So these are not going to be crazy or anything. Like, as you can see, we don't have foil. I don't know how common it is to see a foil in Flesh and Blood because this first blood I opened. Maybe the first blood, it's the first blood, the first box I opened. Maybe it wasn't the best idea for the first box that I opened of Flesh and Blood to be a history pack. I just thought because of the name, like, yeah, let's go to the history of Flesh and Blood. But maybe it's not the most up-to-date experience of Flesh and Blood booster opening, because it's like, it's like, well, these are the reprints. So I'm still going to enjoy this. I'm still going to do at least a ninja deck out of this, maybe a mechanologist one, or just add a couple of cards to the Blitz decks from the 4-player box, link here in the corner. But yeah, overall not bad, and I like the art. I'm kind of getting used to it being in white border, but again, it feels like a acceptable compromise. That is like, if you just want to play, you don't want to collect or anything, these are cheaper. Go for them. No one cares, and they are official. So it's not like, oh, you can't play with white borders in a tournament. You can. They are official cards. Like, I'm opening from boosters, so they are still official. They're just, I guess, not as playing. Now it's a good compromise because it doesn't matter as long as you don't have any way of knowing which one is which, because it's just the border that is white. I guess it's okay to mix black and white borders. But yeah, apparently, as with everything in humanity, there is this looking at the forums online and Reddit and all that stuff, there is this classism going on of like, oh well, those plebs that play with white borders, which to me, I'm like, my brother, I just want to play Flesh and Blood. Like, let's be honest. I know that you want to protect your investment, in which case, yes, sell the black borders. If anyone cares, they will buy them from you. So that's a win-win, I guess. But what do you prefer? To not have the reprints? So, for example, me, that I'm just getting into these now, can't have access to these cards unless I go to the secondary market. That's one of the biggest problems that Magic has. Like, I want to play first. The secondary market, it's cool and all, and certainly, fuels a lot of things in Magic and a lot of value for the cards and a lot of product being sold, but it also creates this endless loop of speculation. Like, here you can speculate with foils if you want, and you can speculate with nice Captain Trader of Skins, Merchant Hero. Well, Merchant is not a category that I had here. So, oops. Which, interesting. I guess is another category. Like, I want to play. Should I go to the secondary market, bleed myself to death? Because, if it's in the secondary market, you're there to make money, and I am there to lose it. So, who wins with this? So the company is smart on that regard, and they're like, okay, you know what? You can go to a local game store that has like Flesh and Blood stuff, and you can ask for the Ninja deck for free, the Blitz deck, or you can print it. We don't care, and you can just start playing. And if you want to go into tournaments and stuff, yes, you need to have a proper deck and all that. Ooh, Ranger Hero, Azalea, Ace in the Hole. But Art of War. There you go. One thing is for sure, like, white borders certainly make this thing feel like proxies. Warrior's Valor. Cool. So, I just want to play. And this way, they make some money. I spend less money. I have the fun of opening packs. I can play, and if you want to look at me and go like, ooh, you have white borders, like, whatever, bro, what's the other option? You will prefer to not have as many people playing with you? Because if that's the case, sure. Again, the division is pretty cool of what's happening here. I'm like half box in, and you can see that there is a lot of almost entire decks in here, so not bad. Pedal to the metal, sorry. Mechanologist, and then disable for Guardians. Again, after this, likely in a following video, we're going to open a more recent pack and see what the differences are. But as a first incursion, not bad. Like, imagine that you are me. This is also a good experiment. You know, imagine that you are me, new to Flesh and Blood. You're like, oh, history pack? Okay, that makes sense. You buy the thing. It's cheaper than other boxes. It comes with a lot of cards, so you're like, okay, we'll play that. And then you start seeing the cards, and it's like, okay, I can use this, I can use that, I can use this. So, which is, you know, the whole thing. Mask of Momentum. Ooh, legendary. Let's go. Once per turn, when an attack action you control is the third or higher chain in a row to hit, draw a card, and it has Blade Break. If you defend with Mask of Momentum, destroy it when the combat chain closes. Okay. Mind you, if I had to, like, I don't know if they change this later down the road, but I will use something else for the rarity, because this thing is, again, to a degree, it also shows that, like, they don't care that much. It's like, well, you can read it if you want. The rarity is an indication, but it's not like the main thing. In other games, the rarity is like easy for you to see because, well, it's a way of sorting the cards. Here you need to do this, I guess, to sort the rarity of the cards. So to each their own. But I would put like a symbol or a color that is more visible, I guess. Maybe because it just feels like, you know, like not a very visually distinctive thing. But Fate Foreseen, okay. Generic defense reaction. Ninja equipment, either Spindle, Wizard action, and Energy Potion. Instant, destroy Energy Potion, gain 2 energy. So, and with this I think it's half the box already. Brute, Torrent of Tempo, Emerging Dominance, Sikkim Shot, Rune Flash, Throttle, Goliath Gauntlet, generic equipment. Then destroy the next attack action card with cost 2 or greater. You play this turn, gains +2 attack. Go again. Sink Below, Steelblade Shunt, and Potion of Strength. Okay, nice art, by the way. Very nice art. Well, that's another thing. This is a lot of boosters. Maybe it's me getting... Maybe I'm getting old or something, but yikes. Warrior Action, Stonewall Confidence, Brood Action, Either Flare. See, like, look at this, for example. Wizard, I can almost... Like, there's a good base here. Put a couple of generics, and there you go. The only thing that you don't have by default is, like, you don't pull that many heroes, which makes sense. So if you have a Blitz deck, this seems like a good, you know, good stuff to add to the Blitz deck. Because that's just how it needs to be. Blessing of Deliverance. So, which is not a bad mix, you know, you get a Blitz deck and then a couple of like a booster box like this, and then you have a lot of stuff to add to them. The only bad thing is that if your first product is the same as mine, which was the TCC collaboration, you have stuff here for Guardians and for Ninjas, but then for Bards and, well, Mechanologists you have, but then you don't have anything for Bards. I guess it's a class that came later. So that one is not getting a lot of stuff. Maybe it's a couple of generic actions and stuff like that, but not that much. Generic instant, and Water Weapon Sword, the Cintari Saber. Or Chintari Saber. I don't know. Water Weapon. Nice. Sorry, this is not the most exciting box opening. Like, if you're already an established Flesh and Blood player, and you're like, my brother, of all the products that you had to pick, you pick the history box. It's like, I don't know, I'm new to this. I'm sorry. I am just trying to understand the meta. This is a new adventure for me as well. And I hope that you're liking it. The art is right there, I have to say. It just pops and slaps. The borders, I'm a big fan of the borders, but I will repeat my, not complaint, but opinion that maybe a little less border, like white or black or whatever, and a little bit more of this board, because for example this one you can tell easily that's a Guardian. It's like, cool. Ninjas, you get used to it. Rangers the same, but then for these ones like Roundblade is like, oh, okay. Like, again, you get used to it, and I guess the more you play the easier it gets. But I would prefer that if they were a little bit thicker, like we don't need that much border eating the thing, unless it's a printing limitation. But it sounds weird that it's a printing limitation, right? It shouldn't be. I think. Generic action attack. Flood of Force is a majestic, I think. I don't remember the name of the rarity. Flood of Force. Combo. If Russian River or Flood of Force was the last attack this combat chain, when you attack with Flood of Force, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a card with combo, put it in your hand, then Flood of Blood gains +3 and go again. Not bad. Pedal to the metal. Overall, I think it's cool that they, like, I really think is, like, you know, as a person that's been playing other card games for so long, this product is blowing my mind to a degree. I'm just like, man, it's really a box of reprints. This is crazy. And yes, there's still rarity, so like it doesn't mean that you get all the stuff, right? But like, Bravo Guardian Hero, nice. Is that Gaston from the Beauty and the Beast? What the fuck? Like, yep, that's Gaston right there. Sluggism, Snatch, and Sledge of Anvilheim. Obviously, there is a, you know, like, there are no foils in here. There are no special treatments, and I need to investigate, like, how popular was this product, because I guess if I recall correctly, there's a history pack too. So I guess to a degree there is, like, they print, and if people like it, they just keep printing. I guess that's why they have the unlimited runs of stuff as well. But my curiosity here is, like, how well received was this? I don't know if there are numbers, but why do I ask? Because, another majestic one, Massacre. When you attack with Massacre, if you have discarded a card with 6 or more, attack this turn, Massacre gains +2 and Intimidate. If Massacre is discarded to pay the cost of a Brood action, you get Intimidate. Not bad. Then Disable. Why I'm so baffled with this, because, you know, you get access to cards, to reprints in boosters, which is like great. So my curiosity is really like, okay, how popular was this? Like, is this viable? Like, should we have this every set or something, every year? You know, like the core set in other card games? Like, because in my curiosity is like, okay, you don't get fancy stuff. So if you want the fancy stuff, you buy the full price when it gets released, right? Like the foils, and I don't know if they have like special treatments or anything, but like if you want that stuff, you get it in the normal boxes. Here you just get cards to play. You're just here to play. You play the game. Cheaper cards. No treatments, no foils, no nothing. White border. So you have that. You have the mark of shame if you. But if you don't care about that, it's like whatever. So that the people that care about collectibles, they have their collectibles. You just want the cards. You can have your cards at a cheaper price, and without having to resort to proxies. Which, I mean, you can just do it. Ooh, Viserai, Runeblood, or Runeblood. Is a full hero, so it's a 40 hero. Whenever you play a Runeblade card, if you play another non-attack action this turn, create a Runechant token. It's an aura with, when you play an attack action card, attack with a weapon, destroy a rune shard, and deal 1 arcane damage to target opposing hero. Okay. Unmovable, Zephyr Needle, and Savage Feast. To a degree, again, I'm just, since it may sound weird, and maybe it's just me, I'm going crazy or something, but like, if you're following this channel, you know all the stuff that we have opened. We open stuff from all sorts of trading cards and all sorts of weird editions, special editions, and all that. And one thing that I always say is, if everything is special, nothing is special, right? And that's not a me thing. That's an old saying. Glint the Quicksilver. Water attack reaction. Target weapon attack gains go again. Reprise. If the defending hero has defended with a card from their hand this chain link, draw a card. Okay. Either Spindle. Wizard here. So if everything is special, nothing is special. But I'm getting like the weirdest feelings right now, because nothing is special here. So everything is special. Like, I'm looking at the cards and go like, oh, okay, cool. I can put this in my ninja deck. I can put this in my brute deck. Like, I'm actually thinking more about the game. Maybe it's because I'm new to this game, and it's the novelty effect. Maybe it's because I'm tired of, I don't know, God knows how many different editions of cards and prints and stuff. Ooh, Renar Reckless Rampage, Brute Hero. Whenever you discard a card with 6 or more attack during your action phase, Intimidate. Target a hero banishes face down a random card from their hand. At the beginning of the end phase, return all cards banished this way to their owner's hand. I'm just, focusing on like, oh, maybe I can use this. Oh, that goes in there. Like, deck building automatically becomes super easy as well. Breeze Rider Boots, Ninja Equipment. When a ninja attack action card you control hits, you may destroy Breeze Rider Boots. If you do, attack action cards with combo gain go again this turn. It has Battle Ward. If you defend with this card, put a -1 defense counter on it when the combat chain closes. Now, the thing that I don't know, because normally I use symbols or die or stuff, is normally they have like generic die for stuff. This is what we have remaining. So, like -1 defense, I don't know how to symbolize that, like with D20s, like what the hell? Or any other type of counter. But yeah, maybe I'm having a weird sensation, but like knowing that each pile is kind of a deck, like I can just, obviously it's not going to be an efficient deck, it's not going to be a tournament winning deck by any means, and it's not going to be like super duper. And there is a reason why I like the Blitz deck so much, because it's like a precon. Well, actually it's a precon. It's, you just get it and play with it. Azalea, Ranger Hero, Jong, cool. You just, play with it and it works. And I'm okay with that, but knowing that you can just do a deck with this and it kind of works, because the thing here is that you don't get mana choked. There is no mana. Every card that you have, you can use to pay the thing. So you need to think on your feet. I need to be faster and like, okay, I use these cards to pay the cost for this one. You have more flexibility. It's interesting. The more I play, the more I see like, oh, okay, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. And I think I am by no means like an expert in Flesh and Blood or anything. As you can see, I'm just like opening white border cards and going like, ooh, it's crazy. But like, it just really feels like I don't know, maybe it depends on the country. I don't know, but Flesh and Blood feels criminally underrated, I think. Because the more I play it, again, I haven't played like super duper much, right? I just played a little bit compared to like people that have been playing it since the beginning. But the more it looks like, you know, it has some depth to it, that I was like, oh, okay. Because if you're like me, I like this type of games because of the deck building and then the strategies and then the depth and like the reactions and like I do this, I do that. And this game has a lot of I do this, I do that. That's the whole game, the chains. Three of a kind. Draw 3 cards on the end of turn. You may only play cards from Arsenal and then go again. Cognition nodes. Interesting. Now, I don't know how the world of Flesh and Blood works because again, these are like different sets put together because I guess, right? So I don't know how much they care about the lore. I guess they care a little bit about the lore. I haven't read about the lore. I haven't found a channel like Magic Arcanum, but for Flesh and Blood, I don't know. I will look into it. But like one of these things is not like the others, right? Like orcs are brutes most of the time, right? Rangers are basically, you know, Aragorn or like elves, and they have bows and arrows and all that. Then you have warriors, which, you know, and then you have guardians, which are basically like heavy warriors. Ninjas are ninjas, and you can be like, yeah, sure, ninjas fit regardless of everything else because it's just like, oh, they are from a different land, but their methods are more or less the same. Then wizards fit everywhere, and in every fantasy setup. And Runeblade is just wizard with extra steps, right? And I know that some of the purists are going to be like, oh no, that's not like, yeah, I know my D&D classes, I know my RPG classes. I'm just trying to simplify. But mechanologists, they are from the future. Like, there is something here that doesn't fit, because sometimes you see stuff like this and it's like a watch and stuff and you're like, okay, it can fit with the rest, but there are some other cards in there that like mechanically they are a lot more advanced, and it's like, how is that thing compatible like with the rest of the lore? I need to check the lore. Last booster, by the way. This is a opening title of this video, opening a Flesh and Blood history pack booster box, and or old man that's been playing Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon and Magic for a lot of his life, be it digitally in the Game Boy games, or which applies to Pokemon and to Yu-Gi-Oh, or on the computer with Arena and Magic Online, and in person discovers Flesh and Blood, plays a little, likes it, buys a box, gets very confused by the borders and all that, gets very confused by the lore. Ooh, Dorinthia. This one I know because of the starter pack, which I got as well, and we can open it. It's a shame that they only did one, but I think it's because it was too expensive, to be honest. And that's why it was like, you know. Again, also it's funny that it's like, oh, I pull this and it's like, oh, Dorinthia. It's a common hero, like no one cares. Like common in the sense that it's like, you know, it's not like a super rare card or anything. It's just like, yeah, it's a normal card. Benji, no, this one is a rare hero. So Benji, the Piercing Wind. Attack action cards you control with 2 or less attack can't be defended by cards from hand. Once per turn, when an attack action card you control hits, your next attack this turn gains +1 attack. And this is one of the rare instances of a hero that has 17 life, which is a hopefully weird value. And Blessing of Deliverance for the Guardians. So I think that the ones that we got most was Ninjas, Guardians, and generics, obviously, against warriors. So, yeah, confused old man opens a history pack box and gets excited about the possibility of playing cards instead of worrying about value and all that. So, I don't know. Let me know down below. Have you played Flesh and Blood? What do you think about it? Am I crazy? I am old. I am discovering a second youth because it's like, oh, you could tell me I can play board games that just cared about the playing the game and not anything else. And yeah, the next time we will open something that is not a history pack, and we will see like how it goes normally and do a comparison. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a great time, and I hope to see you next time on PAX and Recreation. Bye.